Hi everyone, it's Mrs. H. We're going to work backwards today, put everything that we know all together, and be able to take that info and write our own quadratic equation. We're going to start with equations that are in vertex form. I've circled just a couple to do here. Question number 20, I know the vertex. So I'm going to start right away with y minus 5 equals a times, x minus h, which is 4, all squared. In class, or in the first video, I did rewrite this as a times x minus h squared plus k. Either way, those are pretty interchangeable. You can just subtract your 5 off or add it over. What's important, though, is when you are over with your y, it's opposite than it looks, just like when we're inside with our x. So if I gave you this first equation and you were rewriting it, you were graphing it, just keep that in mind. All right, now, I don't know what a is. That's the only thing I need in order to write a full equation because I want to leave an x and a y, just no a. So now for number 20, I'm going to use the fact that I know that 5, 3 is on this graph. And I'm going to plug in 3 for y, and I'm going to plug in 5 for x. And when I plug this in, I should get a true statement, which means that I can use this now to solve for a. I'm going to do a couple things at once. First, I'm going to minus my 5 over to the left-hand side. You do not need to FOIL all out because I know what 5 minus 4 is. It's just 1. I get 1 squared, which is just 1, and so I figured out now that a is equal to -2. For equations like this, you do not need to write it all out. I'm just going to take this and rewrite it. And now I know a, so I'm going to put -2 out in front. And then I have x minus 4 all squared plus 5. Not too bad, just kind of plugging in what you know. For 24, similar idea here. I know my vertex, so I'm going to go right away and plug into vertex form. I'll start with my y equals. I'm going to have y equals a times x minus -2 squared plus 6. And then I know the y-intercept is -2. Don't forget, that means you know a point. A y-intercept is 0, -2. Now, if we were writing in standard form, we talked about knowing our y-intercept as that plus c, but that doesn't just plug in anywhere here. So I'm going to plug in my point, -2 for y, 0 for x, and now I really just have a one variable equation. I'll subtract my 6 over, and then at the same time, I have 2 squared. I'll cross that off. That's really 4. I divide both sides by 4, and I get, oh, hey, again, a is -2. It is a new equation, though. Now that I know what a is, I'll plug that in and keep my x and y from the original. And there we go. Now we have our equation. 26 is very similar, but I wanted to mention something else about number 26 because I'm not going to force you to do these one way or the other. For question 26, I'm running out of room here. I know the vertex is -3, 4, and I know my x-intercept is -1. What I wanted to mention for this question is that because this is your vertex, you actually do know both x-intercepts. If my axis of symmetry is over here at -3, and I know one of my x-intercepts is here at -1, I do in fact know the other. -1 is 1, 2 away, so I'm going to be 1, 2 away. So I'm kind of using all of my knowledge in a problem like this. Now, that's really the only extra thing I wanted to mention. You can do this problem without knowing that, but sometimes it can help, especially after we learn our next thing. So I'll use the point -1, 0. I'll solve for a, just like we did in those other two. Last question, same idea, but they gave me the parabola, and so I'm just going to plug in 5 for y and 2 for x. So for 29 here, I'll plug in 5 minus 3 equals a times 2 minus 1 all squared. That's going to give me 2 equals a times 1 squared. So a is equal to 2. And then I could plug back in if I wanted to so that I had an equation. I'm out of room, but I think you know what that would be. All right, this is kind of case number 1. The next video is going to go over case number 2, but maybe if you want, try a few of these. These I got from the top of page, I think it was 232. And I will, of course, answer any questions if you have them.